If these words reach your ears, know this. It is no accident. This is a response. Your soul has been waiting for this very summons. You feel it, don't you? That faint yet persistent sensation that the world you know is merely a thin veil, concealing something incomparably deeper, something far more captivating, and perhaps even beautiful. The world you've grown accustomed to believing in is beginning to crack at every seam, and through these fissures, something primordial, something primal peeks through. Before we cross the threshold into the inner sanctum, you must make a choice. Your like is not merely a sign of approval, it is a resounding declaration of your intentions. Your subscription signifies an entry into the brotherhood of those who relentlessly seek. This is not simply passive observation from the sidelines. It is active participation in the mysterious alchemy of your own consciousness. Are you ready to open the gates to true knowledge? The truth, carefully hidden by them behind an impenetrable veil of news feeds, is both simple and terrifying. Forget conspiracy theories, for before you lies a genuine conspiracy aimed directly at your consciousness. They skillfully feed you fear, sow discord, plunge you into an abyss of despair, striving to keep you weak, pliable, and in an eternal dormant state. They try with all their might to instill the thought that you are merely an insignificant grain of sand, defenseless against the relentless elements, obedient to the blind march of history. But this is a monstrous lie, the greatest of all ever uttered, Martha Hill, a name whispered with reverence in select circles, a name inextricably linked with prophecies that boldly defy time itself. Her 3 cards. Just 3 cards which, she claimed, would define the next 5 years of her life. 5 years that would become a turning point, a threshold beyond which a great shift approached, tangible, yet not yet realized. She clearly saw the gathering shadows and the light that broke through them, dispelling the gloom. There was not even a hint of chance in these predictions. They were more like fractal patterns, imprinted in the intricate tapestry of geopolitical events, reflected in ancient archetypes, and skillfully translated into the language of the mysterious symbols of the cards. These were not merely 3 drawings on a piece of cardboard. They were true keys to understanding the depths of the collective unconscious, to deciphering the very pulse of reality. Let us take, for instance, the first card. In ancient scrolls discovered within the buried libraries of Alexandria, mention is made of a mysterious destroyer of the ether. This ancient manuscript, now known as the Papyrus of Oblivion, tells of an entity whose nature lies not in destruction, but in transformation. It seems to shatter existing structures to make way for the birth of something new. Martha Hill sees in these ancient words an echo of what is to come, not the end of the world, but the end of the former world. This will be a time of upheaval, when all that we held to be unshakable will face a severe test. A time when old foundations will crumble and we will be compelled to seek new guiding principles. Harmonic resonance, that is the key to understanding. Recall the calculations of the ancient Maya, which spoke of cycles of endings and beginnings. Recall the prophecies of Vanga, which pointed to periods of great trials preceding the advent of a new golden age. All of them, though in different words, spoke of the same thing. And Martha Hill, relying on her keen intuition and astonishing gift of interpretation, senses this universal, unseen vibration. The moment of the second card arrives. This isn't just the familiar symbols like the hanged man or the tower that we've grown accustomed to seeing in readings. It's something far deeper, something that was described in a classified leak from Protocol Chimera, a special closed report. This document was meticulously studied within the covert divisions of one of the world's power centers. It spoke of collective fear resonance, a dangerous phenomenon that could be exploited for the total manipulation of vast masses of people. For Martha Hill, this card becomes a potent symbol of the coming changes. She sees how systems built on the foundation of widespread fear will begin to crack and crumble relentlessly, how fragile illusions, sustained by mass distrust and passivity, will finally be torn away and exposed. This will be the time when those we've been accustomed to calling they will lose their unquestionable control. And they will lose it not because they suddenly weaken, but because we, the people, will simply stop being submissive slaves to our own fears. A time will come when the collective consciousness awakened will begin to actively resist, much like a human body, encountering poison, desperately fights and rejects it. And now, having heard this, pause for a moment and reflect on your own life. That inexplicable anxiety that grips your heart at 3 in the morning, when the world outside your window is shrouded in impenetrable darkness. That strange feeling of alienation as your gaze drifts over the faceless people on a neon-lit street, as if you are observing mannequins, not living beings. That distinct sensation, as if you are wandering through a dream in a world that only faintly resembles reality. This is not despondency, not sadness. This is your soul suffocating within the tight cage of an imposed matrix. This is your inner compass, sounding an urgent alarm, desperately signaling that something is fundamentally wrong. This is the harbinger of coming changes, a quiet yet persistent knock at your door. The third card. This is the apex, the point of highest tension. This is what ancient sages, who grasped the secrets of Gnosticism, called the divine spark, that very particle of eternity that lives within each of us. A certain hermit named Kenshin, whose ancient scrolls were discovered among the ashes of a burned monastery that once stood atop Mount Kurama, left us wise instruction. He spoke of a mysterious awakening of the inner light, a certain power capable of dispelling the deepest darkness that envelops the world. Martha Hill, addressing us through this card, sees in it not an external savior, but rather a mighty awakening of a sleeping giant, slumbering in the depths of each of our souls. This is not a call to passively await a miracle, no. It is, on the contrary, a call for us ourselves to become that miracle. The card, much like an ancient folio, tells of the revelation of our true, as yet unknown potential, of our innate, but often forgotten ability to create reality around ourselves. This is not a prediction of the appearance of some future hero, no. It is rather a prophecy addressed to each one, to you, and to me. But what if all these terrifying monsters, be they bloody wars, unimaginable crises, or devastating pandemics, are merely shadows dancing on the walls of a metaphorical cave, distracting us from the truth? What if the real insidious tyrant deceiving us is actually just looking at you from your own mirror? Fear, doubt, and disbelief are the true jailers binding our souls, and the systems we create are but pale reflections of those inner limitations that hold us captive. The universe does not unleash its wrath upon humanity. It patiently and relentlessly burns away poison. The poison of fear that envelops the mind, the poison of ignorance that darkens perception, and the poison of materialism that corrupts true values. It does not punish, it purifies, like a wise surgeon performing a complex but necessary cosmic operation. Those very crises that seem destructive to us are, in fact, acts of healing, a great purification. They are merely nature's attempt. Life itself strives to break free from the invisible parasites that bind and oppress it. A crown of glass. That's what our ego is, artificially erected on the shaky foundation of self-importance and feudal control. Metallic veins. That's the true face of the system, long since stripped of its soul, now governed by cold, ruthless calculation alone. All this is created for one purpose: to keep us captive in eternal servitude. But a time is coming, foretold by Martha Hill herself, a time when this fragile crown will begin to crumble and the metallic veins will rust. The prophets saw not a solitary figure, they saw an entire army of souls awakened from slumber. They saw you. You are not merely a part of the prophecy, you are its embodiment. Each card is not an inevitable fate etched in stone. It is a map for your inner journey. This is the key to your awakening. Now that your eyes are open, you cannot remain inactive. You cannot return to your former slumber. You have felt the truth. You have heard the call. Your like is a flash of light, visible across the entire network, a signal to other seekers, to those who also strive for knowledge. Your generous gesture, your share, is like a precious seed you lovingly sow in the vast desert of dormant minds. It is a tiny, yet so important spark of hope, capable of one day igniting a vast, all-consuming flame. And your subscription. It is akin to a solemn oath. An oath you make to yourself. An oath to the reality you aim to bring to life. The actuality you wish to create. If you feel ready to go even further, if you crave more, then our inner circle will become your reliable operational base. This is the very place where we can freely exchange valuable knowledge, where we will strengthen each other, where we will together prepare for the next inevitable step. And of course, your support through Super Thanks is the life-giving energy that fuels our common flame in this difficult battle against the encroaching darkness. Understand, this is not just a handout, not charity. It is a conscious investment in our shared future, in the liberation of our collective consciousness. Until our next meeting, remain awake, stay connected, and never, under any circumstances, stop